This is Rusty, our 2018 Land Rover Discovery 5, and today we're going to do an MPG test to find out if this little diesel engine still has what it takes to be relevant.
This is a luxury SUV that we picked up for not very much money, and not many people know that it's still powered by diesel.
That's right, and to find out if this is any good on fuel economy, we're going to do our classic Denver 100 MPG loop.
Let's go. Wow, we're in a lap of luxury here.
And we have a diesel, Andre.
Yes.
Pretty cool, that's right up our alley.
And it purrs just so.
Yeah, it actually sounds like a little tractor, but a fancy little tractor.
Yes. Wow, look at this case. It's a yellow cap, not green.
Ah, interesting.
It reminds you it's diesel.
Yeah, that's probably smart because there's definitely plenty of these that aren't.
And look at this. It has a special place where you put your, right there.
How neat.
Everything is neat. All right, let's top it off. Once again, ultra low sulfur diesel.
Yeah, absolutely. In a high-end car like this,
Yes.
high performance.
High performance. So ultra low sulfur diesel it originally came about like in 2007, 2008, when the DEF systems came on board and DPF, diesel particulate filter systems. So they kind of work together, like hand in hand, right? The fuel itself and then the emissions controls.
Yeah, and this Land Rover being a diesel should get really good fuel economy despite the fact that it is a pretty high-profile, large SUV with a very substantial four-wheel drive system and even a slightly aggressive tire.
Yeah, we have these Falcon Wildpeak AT trails that are snow rated. So these are not like highway cruising tires, a little bit more grippy. And there's always 30-second top off.
Exactly,
right?
So we'll wait a few seconds, top things off, and then we can head out on our MPG run. It's over 100 miles that we test things out over, so we get a pretty good average.
All right, we're ready to go.
What if I
click OK? So you have also an additional...
Well, I did click OK. Hold on.
You have an additional button here.
Back,
so you have to have a degree in Land Rover engineering.
And I might, if anyone does.
Dude,
what am I doing? Oh!
Trip bank? Wait, you gonna go to the bank? Oh, Trip A. That's
Trip
amazing.
Auto. Okay, well, yeah, right. Display.
Go up all the way and go left.
Something tells me that this isn't
content.
No, that just...
Oh, that changes the date down here.
Why do we have a whole button for that? Oh boy, now I'm switching Roman's radio station back to XM Chill.
Oh wait, what if you hold this?
Hold it down.
Resetting. Yes!
Wow!
We held it down!
Incredible, good job, Andre.
Dude, I gotta tell you, when Roman first told me that he purchased this Disco 5, I wasn't exactly sure, and then he said, guess what's special about it? And first I thought the color was special.
Yeah, which is actually where this Discovery got its name. We call it Rusty because of the color, not because it's actually rusty.
No, because it's made of aluminum for the most part,
yeah,
right?
And it's a 2018, so it's not even that old.
No. But it was actually the powertrain that was really special about this.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool because looking into the past, and especially in other markets, there were a lot of diesel Land Rovers, and those were a lot of times the preferred engines because they tended to be a little bit more dependable than some of the gas options that they had back in the day.
Yeah.
So this is along those same lines. This Discovery 5 versus like the LR4 and the LR3s and the Discoveries of the past is a little bit more shaped like a bar soap, so...
Which should help it with efficiency, right?
Yeah, for today's test, that should be to its credit.
I would call it a jelly belly.
Yeah,
is that good?
Yeah, no. It looks a little bit like a bean. It's not the most attractive from the outside, at least compared to, I think, the LR4. But it should help it in fuel economy. And Roman got this for just over $20,000. Look at all the features we got, Andre. We've got a heated windshield. We've got heated seats. We've got a really nice suite of features.
No, this feels premium. It feels special. This was almost like the top of the line. I mean, I think we're missing like one or two like tiny options on this, but it's full featured. It feels really nice. It's very quiet. The ride is actually really great too.
We have air suspension. Right now we're set up in access height for our highway trip, which makes sense. We want to be a little bit lower down, but if you're going off-road, you can jack up the height on this and get up to a height that Land Rover claims gets you around 11 inches of ground clearance. So these are really capable off-road, a really good four-wheel drive system, and we do have a slightly more aggressive tire on this, like we pointed out. But because of this diesel, we still might be able to get pretty good fuel economy. And we're going to have this vehicle for a while because we bought this as a company test vehicle.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what kind of fuel economy we're going to get as we own it.
Exactly. And let's talk about the engine because this is a 3-liter turbo diesel. And the specs are pretty decent, right? 254 horsepower.
Yeah, which is not a ton, but 443 pound-feet of torque. So it makes up for it a little bit there.
And also an 8-speed automatic. All those things sound really good for efficiency and smoothness. But also, back in the day, Ford used to own Land Rover. And there was some synergies there. And actually, this 3-liter V6 turbo diesel was also in the F-150 for a little while.
Yeah, so it's an engine that we've tested quite a bit in the past in other applications like that.
Yeah.
But we'll see today what it does in this. Off-road, this engine is great because it gives you some of that low-end grunt that you want in order to climb up obstacles. But on the highway, it's also pretty nice from an experience standpoint. It's very smooth and very quiet as we're going down the highway. You really don't hear it at all.
No, and that's what the luxury SUV is all about, right? You want smoothness and quiet experience, and this engine delivers that. And the EPA rates this at 26 highway, but I think we could beat it. Yeah, I'm pretty hopeful.
Even with our slightly knobbier tires, I wouldn't be surprised if we can get a better number than that on our 110-mile loop, of which we've really just started. So we've got quite a bit of driving left to go, and we're going to be doing it very comfortably.
Nice. Well, let's put a few more miles under our belts and see how it does. Dude, I want to see the trip meter because we got some good results, actually.
Yeah, so right now what the trip meter is telling me is 28.7 miles per gallon, which, if that's true, that's a pretty good number. That would mean we're beating the EPA by quite a bit if we're getting almost 29 miles per gallon. And I gotta say, after the drive, I feel not only like it didn't take much time at all, I feel well rested even. What about you?
Well, yeah, I mean, we did have some crosswinds for a little while.
Sure.
But this SUV, Disco 5, just made it simple and easy.
But a lot of times the trip computers can be a little generous, a little ambitious, so we gotta find out what the real number is.
Oh, wait. We gotta flip around.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I pulled up on the wrong side. I even own a Land Rover. I should know that.
Dude, we like pickup trucks.
Yeah, we sure do. So British.
Nice. Are we going to have a picnic after this? Did you bring
tea?
Crumpets?
I did not.
All right, let's see what the final damage is. Dude, if this is near 28, this is one of the better SUVs we've tested.
Yeah, absolutely, because we did not this same MPG loop, but a road trip in a diesel GMC Yukon with the 3-liter Duramax. It's the same displacement as this, and admittedly kind of a bigger, boxier SUV than this, but that got, what, over 25 miles per gallon?
I think it was like over 27. You and Nathan did that. So if it gets over 27, it would be really excellent.
Yeah, that would, and that would mean that over the lifetime of us owning this vehicle, it'll be a pretty practical thing to drive around. Road trip.
Whoa!
That's a good start.
That's a very good start. All right.
Top off time?
All right, top off time and calculate. Alrighty. So we used up, what, 3.876 gallons?
Yeah, and we know the actual GPS calculated mileage, so we're not depending on what the trip computer says because there's always some discrepancy between vehicles.
So 111 is the number we have been using for some of the other trucks, especially mid-size vehicles. So let's use that. Do you have your calculator on you?
111 divided by 3.876?
Yeah.
Is almost 29. Wow,
so that was matching what the computer said.
It's almost exactly what the computer said, so it was pretty spot on.
Yeah.
And I'm impressed with that number, almost 30 miles per gallon from an SUV like this that you can also take to Moab, take on some decently challenging trails,
Yeah.
fit a bunch of people, a bunch of things in.
Or you could put a hitch on this and tow a sizable trailer with
This
this.
one doesn't have a hitch.
I know,
it could.
but you could add a hitch to it.
Yeah, so
Yes.
that's a good result. I'm actually really pleased with that.
Yeah, this is quite excellent. Yeah, so that just kind of shows you diesels are still something to be reckoned with.
So good job to Rusty the Land Rover. Let us know what you think in the comments below. That's all for this video. Thanks to Andre for coming on this little miniature road trip with me.
All right, and thanks to you for driving and taking care of it. We'll see you next time.